Hey guys, welcome back. I am Crank Addict, and this is the channel for crank addicts like me and hopefully like you. Today we're going to work on the Jimmy a little bit more while we're waiting for some parts to come in on the boat. I like to get this thing ready for paint, but I've been waiting for some replacement doors for a long time. These are late model doors off a C10 truck, and they'll work on a Blazer, on these early Blazers, as long as you chop the windshield surround off the windshield frame. And I bought these doors because I thought they were in pretty good shape, and they have all the electrical provisions for power windows and power locks, which would be a nice little upgrade for this truck. Okay? But the other door isn't in such great shape. This one here has just a small dent right here. It's actually in pretty good shape and minimal rust, so I can probably use this. But now that they're making premium doors for these trucks, I thought I'd just buy one of the newer premium doors and be good to go. But the doors that I've ordered from Holly have been on back order for 3 months now. So it's been a real drain on this project's timetable. So I may end up just going ahead and buying a dent puller and working these doors, but we'll see. In the meanwhile, let's see what else we can do to this old truck. Alright guys, check out this AC condenser that I just installed. This is a double pass AC condenser. It gets rid of all the tubes of the old style condenser. Okay? And I ordered the biggest one that I thought would fit in this reproduction core support. The only problem is the Chinese, when they welded this core support together, didn't weld the uprights straight. They're a little off. So I ordered a condenser that's probably about a ½ inch too wide. No big deal. So I mounted this thing flush with this panel right here so that I could get the condenser far enough back to allow the hood hinge support to be able to go around it. I still had to notch this a little bit on this rail support here, just to make sure I have just barely enough clearance. Okay. And I had to notch out this support on top and on lower for the in and the out lines. But to support this condenser, I welded a piece of 1/16 inch steel. It's 1 inch thick from the passenger side all the way across to the driver's side. I actually tied it into this piece across here. You can see my welds up here are a little bit sloppy, but they're going to hold. And I drilled a couple of holes in the support so that it would be able to fit one of these holes on top. So this bolt just goes right through this support and into the core bracing. I'm not sure what you'd call this. It's just a really support for the whole core. But it's on both sides. It's like a little U channel. So the bolt actually goes through one side and out the back side. So it actually engages both sides. So these are really good supports here and on the far corner. I'm going to build another bracket, I think, to help solidify this here. But the brace does a really good job of holding it still in the middle. So we'll see. That might be good enough just right there. I mean, it feels pretty solid. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. It doesn't seem to make any squeaking noises. If it ever starts to squeak on me, I can always throw a little bit of rubber in here to isolate this chunk of aluminum from the steel support. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the way that turned out. This is the stock front axle on this 73 Jimmy. It is a Dana 44 differential, and I found out that it is open, which means it does not have any limited slip capability. And for a four-wheel drive vehicle, that's not very good. This truck may do limited duty pulling boats in and out of the water in the future. So When you're on a wet boat ramp trying to haul 5,000 pounds out of the water, you want to make sure all 4 tires have traction so you get that boat out of there. So we'll be upgrading this differential to a limited slip. I found one through a GM parts warehouse. Some new old stock stuff going on back there. And I got it at a really good price, about 250 bucks, give or take. So that's a lot less than, $400 or $500 for an aftermarket limited slip unit. So let's see how it fits. All right, so this is the limited slip unit in question. Came from gmpartsgiant.com. And there we go. It is a track lock differential. I can see the clutches back there, so that's legit. Oh, and on this side, there's some clutches over here, so definitely track lock. And it even came with some bearings and some bolts and some install stuff, so a couple shims. Wow, about half a dozen shims. So we'll have to get this front end up in the air, pull the tires and the disc brakes, and we'll see how tough it is to get these tubes out. I haven't done this on a front differential before, so this will be a learning experience for me. Okay, let's see how this works. Alright, well, it looks like this piece here is part of the rotor itself. Well, I'm betting these have not been off in a while. So we got the snap ring right there. This looks like the axle shaft itself, so looks like it's pretty straightforward. Big old gear and a spring, super yummy. It's like there's some kind of a lock washer in there. I'm loosening that right now. I'll have to go online and find all the specs for retightening this stuff. But that was not tight at all. All right, there's that little washer. And now we've got another one of those spindle nuts. Again, this inner spindle nut is just not even hand tight. So I'm just going to loosen it up with my fingers. We're supposed to use a spindle nut socket to loosen these things up. So I'm not sure why these are so loose. Alright, there's a little bump there sticking out. And here is a seal that doesn't look so good. And the bearing is in there. Well, if the bearing is there, that means this thing here has to come off. So let me go and get a wrench and we'll take the brake caliper off real quick. Alright, this is an old truck, so an 11/16 socket fits. I think the newer ones have hex sockets, so you have to use like a 1/4-inch hex or something like that to get them off. Actually, it's probably metric. It'd be about what, a 7mm, maybe 8mm hex? I don't know. I'm trying to remember from my '84 Suburban. And this caliper is really stuck on there. Oh, crud. Well, this will be a good chance to clean this up. The pads aren't bad, but I need to get these rotors turned. It's pretty rough. Okay, so with that off, there we go. We'll remove the rotor. All right, and the bearings are in there. Okay, oh boy. Should probably squirt these with a little bit of WD-40. You know me, I love that WD. Because I am going to have to, well, this is the axle shaft here, and this is like a, I don't know, kind of like a sheath for the axle shaft. And this is not going to come out unless this thing here pops off. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 nuts to loosen here, and then I should be able to pop this off, and then the whole axle shaft should slide out. So let's squirt these guys and let them soak for a few minutes. Alright, it's been about 5 minutes. Let's give these things a little push here. Oh man, smooth as butter. That is too easy. Alright, well, I'm going to remove this dust cover for the disc brakes, but it appears as though this thing was welded on at some point. The top weld broke, but the bottom weld is still there. I'm not sure if that's normal or if that's something that someone else did. Let me know what you guys think. That sure looks like a hack job to me. Oh, that was loud. Alright, got that little piece off. But I still need to get this thing out. Got a little more WD here. That's tight. Yeah, you want to resist the urge of putting a screwdriver down in there. You don't want to mess up those surfaces. But I may have to. Ooh. That's really tight. I may try. Let me find one of those locking washers here. I'll thread this back onto that piece. Now I can pound against this thing and try to knock that loose. That sounded pretty good. Another option at this point, since I have this washer on here now, it's a heavy duty washer, so I can use a jaw puller to pop that off. I don't know if I have one that'll fit. Let me go look. Alright, well, this is a bit embarrassing here, but I cannot get this axle support off of the knuckle. The other side came out no problem. A few taps, boom, done. But this one is rusted in place. So I've been at it for about an hour now. WD-40 torch, WD-40 torch, and I've got just a little bit of a crack now in between the two pieces. So I think it's going to come on out with just a little bit more heat. It's getting real close. Remember what I said about not chiseling in here? Well, guess what I'm doing? I am chiseling in here. I'm using a wood chisel though. This is an old wood chisel. All you woodworkers out there, sorry about this. It is tight though. And it's hot. It's coming. A little warm. There we go. Woo! I'm glad I got that on film. Man, that was a lot of work. Alright, so once this piece is out, then you can just grab your axle and slide it on out. Oh man, oh man. So now that we have the axles slid out of the way, we can remove this differential. And it's going to require a 3/4 inch socket. And I'm hoping I don't have to remove this drag link here. This might be in the way though. It looks pretty close. But let's give it a try. Let's see. Keep our caps in order here. Don't want them to get mixed up. I got the carrier out by loosening up one of the tie rods. And as you can see, there is no limited slip in there. So they spin one way, the gear spins the other way. You can't do that with a new one. They are tied together with the clutch. Alright, so we're just going to undo these bolts, move the ring gear over, and reinstall it.
70.
We've got the bolts torqued to 70 foot-pounds on the ring gear, and the new bearings are pressed into place. So we're going to try to slide this thing up into position. Come on, there we go. All right, there we go. Now it's in. Nope, not quite. I'm going to put the transmission in neutral so I can spin the pinion a little bit more. It's kind of jammed right now. I think the transfer case is in neutral now. Go on in there. Come on. A little bit stuck. Alright guys, well, I ran into a bit of a problem. I wasn't able to get that limited slip carrier installed in the housing. The bearing clearances were about right, but no matter what I did, I couldn't get it inserted. So I went ahead and popped off the ring gear, thinking this was what was holding it up. And sure enough, it just drops right into place. What is going on? Why won't this carrier fit with the ring gear installed? So I compared the open versus the new limited slip carrier. Check this out. So here you can see the original open carrier, and this is the limited slip. If you look at the mounting heights for the ring gear, this one is a lot closer to the center of the housing. So when I install the ring gear is binding on the pinion and it won't let this thing go in all the way. It's hitting too soon. So now the issue is, why is the ring gear hitting too soon? There are two carriers available for the Dana 44. I knew this when I bought this one. This one here is supposed to be for the 373 and I guess numerically lower gears. The other one is supposed to be for 392 and numerically higher gears. I've got a 373 set. Should be a walk in the park, right? Buy the 373 carrier. But for some reason it's not working. Well, here's my issue here. I measured my old carrier and it is the 2.09 carrier, but my new carrier measures 2.4. So the carrier I received is for a 392 and up ratio. So that thing was misboxed. So I'm going to be sending that back to the seller. I hope they still take it back. I went ahead and installed the bearings, so we'll see what they say. And I'll be on the hunt for one of those carriers. Anyway, short video today. Thanks for watching. You know, things don't go always your way. That's part of wrenching. So hit that like button if you enjoy, and I'll catch you later for part 2.